Also the bank should be a essential part embedded in the infrastructure of corporate clients.
Today, I have the pleasure to welcome in the studio Angela Nickel, who is the CEO of Como Digital Life. Welcome.
Yeah. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Just to remind people, if you missed it on LinkedIn, I received a message 2 months ago from an entrepreneur who was just kicked out of Revolut. And he sent me all his onboarding documents, which I forwarded to you and to 2 well-known Luxembourgish banks. We received 2 refusals from the banks, and you onboarded this entrepreneur who has a team of 15 employees. So what happened there? What was the reason of refusal, or what was your reason to accept this client?
Also first we accept the client because it was just a normal client request with a very straightforward business concept. So there was no reason to refuse the company itself to open a bank account. What the other banks made for a decision process, we don't know.
No, I also don't know. I asked some questions, but I don't have the answers. But thank you for saving those 15 jobs. Because when you don't have a bank account, you cannot pay your salaries, you cannot pay your invoices. So your life expectancy as a business is extremely short. If we take a wider view, we all understand this is part of this de-risking effort from the regulators of the West. I guess it started a long time ago, but it went much stronger in 2008 after the subprime crisis. So how do you approach this risk-based or risk story at Como?
That's a very good question, Jérôme. I think we need to address here multiple players inside to mediate or de-risk or balance risk. And that is not starting only with a bank who needs now to de-risk his portfolio or their portfolio because we're having specifically in Luxembourg and some other jurisdictions where we are having a high concentration on financial services and a proportional concentration on high risk. Mm-hmm. That is a huge challenge for that countries. And of course, Luxembourg is affected from that massively. Mm-hmm. On the other side, that means we need to understand Europe better, in stopping stigmatizing forefront financial centers. Mm-hmm. They have actually stepped up to change regulation to be not anymore, let me say, the end of the line. They are now on the front of regulation. Mm-hmm. And innovators, supporting innovation. It is super difficult for the banks to take all that, let me say, the huge investment which is related to fulfill that in an optimized way on cost optimization, education of the people behind to add to their high-risk business, low and medium-risk business. Mm-hmm. That means it needs to be attracted to that country. Mm-hmm. So if we are looking in the treasury service where a huge need would be to centralize treasury, mm-hmm. It would be a huge opportunity for Luxembourg to centralize it here. So, but therefore we need to advocate that our regulation is top of the top, in order to come that. But I need to add something else, and that is the corporate, or in that case, the client self, needs also to upgrade. Mm-hmm. It's not about that the bank now takes every blame, and the banking system and the regulator and everything is so difficult. No, I think we are in an age of digitalization. Mm-hmm. It's the reason why we are calling Como Digital Life, as we are supporting digital life. But the client needs also to be up to date and willing to share that documents which are required in order to make, in fact, an automated or more streamlined money laundering, monitoring, and a validation of how to say transactions which are international or even in Europe.
Yeah, so if I sum up what you just said, it's a very, very complex topic. So risk involves, of course, regulation, which is very expensive to remain compliant with. Digitization, which again represents very, very high investment, even for big banks. Training, and as you said, even if you've got this, you still need to make sure that the country remains attractive. I like your idea to attract more treasury centers here, because then you really see all the payments from the whole group. Of course, it's much easier. And you need, of course, the client to evolve, not just the banks, and be ready to be transparent, structure his data so that everything can start working together. Is that right?
Absolutely correct, yeah. And I would like to add to the education factor also that the banking world in that financial centers need also to upgrade their knowledge, not only being fund asset management centric. No, the real money lays still in also in corporates or international corporates, and they need to understand how business is done. And I think that is a major gap which we are facing here, and that is actually faced also by the banks you are have just contacted with a company who has a very ordinary business, which is not getting a bank account. So simple like that.
Yes. In terms of Como Digital Life, do you consider yourself a bank or a tech company?
I would say both. A tech company, obviously on the forefront, yeah, not only from an innovation perspective, or also from being up to date with tech, which has enabled us to comply with all the requirements of a regulator.
Yeah, you're regulated by CSSF. Huh?
Absolutely, yeah. And on the other side, as a banking/payment enabler for transactions globally, yeah, and enable every corporate to either centralize their treasury with us and being enabled to hedging FX or hedging liquidity. Because one major difference between a bank and Como is that we are safeguarding and segregating the money of a client, as we are making naturally not money with lending, investments, and other instruments in order to make money out of your money. That means we are have it constantly on demand to your service, and being actually in that aspect having a lower risk that customer money or client's money is disappearing. Okay. So I think that is the main essence. Being a payment institution, even we have big ambitions, we will keep that principle because we see us as a tech.
Okay, but that means also it makes you a potential partner for banks.
Absolutely.
A technological partner.
Absolutely. Not only that, we are on the forefront of cloud-based scalability, how to say, being enabled to that, yeah, we are having also AI and machine learning in the right quantity in processes involved. And I think we could be a very good partner for banks, mainly for medium and small banks who are having not the ability to serve their clients with that needs.
To develop their own tech, because it's a never-ending process. You constantly need to maintain it and innovate all the time.
Indeed, but the major blocker for that is actually to find the right people.
Of course.
And we're having, it's a pretty much young industry, and it's not even 30 years old, and we have not enough knowledgeable people in order to live a digital life.
That's true. If we take maybe a look into the future, how do you see the future of banking, basically?
That is a very complex question.
Mm-hmm.
I think the bank should move to the client and not the client moves to the bank.
Okay.
I said the bank should be an essential part embedded in the infrastructure of corporate clients.
Okay.
And I have here to make a note. If I'm only thinking about Como, we are mainly B2B driven, not mainly, we are exclusively B2B driven, as we are serving the corporate and business world.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have other requirements in a B2C scenario,
Mm-hmm.
but theirs becomes also through the app this huge including all apps, which I'm questioning sometimes because there is a lot of obstacles also on the way. But I think if that Como is focusing on B2B, it's a good move. The world is much larger than in the B2C,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very, very needed.
So basically, if you succeed, if I'm a treasurer, maybe in 5 years, on my telephone, I'll be able to do, of course, my payments, but also my FX and also all the range of activities a treasurer needs, for example.
That is a good idea, but let me say for a small company, that would work.
Okay.
For a large company, he needs probably 2 or 3 screens in order to see it.
Yes,
and therefore, I would not recommend to do it only simply through an app. That is for small companies. A good approach, we are not addressing that, but others addressing that, and that would be their move, hopefully. But I think it is very important that we are serving the future of the treasury. The future of the treasury is that these people most likely are much younger than we, or me at least, and therefore they're expecting this seamless, easier, self-explanatory environment.
That's true.
And that I need, and that needs to be addressed in the applications.
Sure.
Yeah.
And if I followed you closely, I think collaboration will be critical, not just between your company and your clients, but also between your company and other tech companies and banks, so that everything can move together like in a nice watch, and regulation and technology and knowledge could grow together.
Indeed, yeah. I think what Como's agenda is what Shopify has done for the e-commerce world in bringing all that players together in all the functionalities. That is what Como is aiming to bring together for the corporate business. And corporate business is not limited to a manufacturer or a company who is producing things. I think that is addressing the entire market that starts here in Luxembourg with the fund industry and the asset management industry, but goes beyond that. We do not care what you sell actually in that method, except of course the blacklisted business. We exclude. We have their strict rules to bring the risk in the right balance, but we are aiming to make treasury, especially in the Europe economic area, in a level where we can talk about digital approach. But this requires indeed that the client is also up to speed. Sure, it's not about only to blame banks, yeah?
Yeah, so you're industry agnostic as long as the client is willing to be 100% compliant.
Correct.
Perfect. So we wish you a lot of success with Como Digital Life. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jerome.